Welcome to Houma, Terrebone Parish, my home. You know, today I could take you to a lot of different places that I think so dearly of. One would be the 3 museums that we have here in Terrebone Parish. I could also take you on a swamp boat tour. Actually, I could take you downtown and show you the skyline of the beautiful historic district. I could take you to one of our many fancy Cajun cuisine restaurants that we have here. But instead, I've chose to take you to some of our beautiful plantation homes here in Terrebone Parish. Why don't you come along with me? Take a ride. Let's go. Please come right on in. Welcome to the Magnolia Plantation, one of the more elegant and older plantations in South Louisiana. It was built in 1834 by Thomas Ellis. Thomas's daughter Eliza married later on in this very same home General Braxton Bragg. He was a Confederate general with the Civil War. It's made almost entirely out of cypress, carved by hand by the slaves that worked here on the plantation at Magnolia. Magnolia has a significant history behind it. It was also used as a Confederate hospital during the Civil War. Let me bring you on in. I'd like you to take a look at the stairway here. This imported stairway was from France, and it was imported here, and it's a carved stairway which was very unique for its time. Welcome to the music parlor here in Magnolia Plantation. This beautiful home was also purchased in 1957 by M. Lee Schaffer and his missus, and they are the current owners today. This home also boasts of its high 14-foot ceilings, its large rooms, and its extravagant hallways as you go through. Like most homes of this era, it had multiple dining rooms, as you can see, and also as we peruse the room, you can also see that every room had its own fireplace to keep things warm during the winter. Ardon Plantation was built by John Schaefer for his wife, Julia. Ardon was constructed from the years 1890 through the year 1894. With the exception of the pine floors, it was made of cypress grown right here on the surrounding homeland. The home is a classic example of turn-of-the-century, rural Victorian Gothic architecture. The home has remained in the possession of the Schaffer family for 120 years. Please, come on in. Let's enjoy Ardon Plantation. Come right this way. Like most plantation homes of Louisiana, Hollywood falls in love with them and their backdrop and loves to shoot movies here. Ardon Plantation is no exception. Ardon had 3 such movies for Hollywood shot here. 2 of them, Deadline and the movie Tribute, were shot in 2009, and the movie Crazy in Alabama was shot here in 1999. This makes for a grand tribute to this area. This home will probably, no doubt, be shot again for many movies to come in the future. Hello, welcome. This is one of our grand museums and plantations. This was recently turned into a museum, and they have tours daily here at Southdown Plantation. Let me take you inside. The grand lobby is dedicated, by the way, to Mardi Gras. We're very big on Mardi Gras in this area. In fact, outside of New Orleans, Houma has more Mardi Gras parades than any other city in Louisiana or in the nation as far as that's concerned. Come on in. You might notice that every room practically has a fireplace. You needed them back in the wintertime to keep everything nice and cozy and warm. This fireplace has some tile in here that is from 1893. If you'll look up this way, you'll see the transoms above the doorways, and all the rooms basically had transoms, and that's to allow a cross breeze to blow through the entire home, but prior to days of air conditioning, of course. Hello, welcome to our grand dining room. You might notice the original stained glass above the door and on each side. Why don't you come on in? I'll open the doors for you, and you can get a treat and walk right on in to our grand dining room. William J. Miner began building Southdown in 1859. It was designed in the Greek Revival style of architecture. The outbreak of the Civil War temporarily stopped the construction of the home. The second floor was not added until 1893, at which time Miner's son Henry modified the architecture style with a two-story turrets on each side, following the Victorian trend of that period. The second floor side galleys face Little Bayou Black. Southdown is owned by the Terrebone Historical and Cultural Society. I might point out that, of course, all of your antebellum plantation homes were on water because water in the 1800s was the main source of travel. And, oh, excuse me, I'm very sorry, I didn't mean to block you. After all, they are royalty and they were here first.
This is the authentic desk of Alan J. Ellender, United States Senator.
Hello, and welcome to Crescent Farms Plantation. The plantation of Crescent Farms was owned by William Alexander Schaffer in 1827. He was the center of operations for the Schaffer family landholdings. The present building occupying the site was constructed in 1849 and was the centerpiece of cane and the farm land in the area. That included its own sugar mill. Crescent Farm continued to be a major producer of sugarcane until the 1920s and was eventually acquired by a corporate processor in the 1930s. The raised Creole Acadian style plantation house design represents the apex of Louisiana's Creole architect and capturizes numerous special design features such as the broad spreading roof line with symmetrical facade, evenly spaced windows.
This three-story plantation has an 8-foot ceiling height first floor, 12-foot ceiling height second floor, and 8-foot ceiling height on third floor.
Well, here we are at Crescent Farms Plantation. You know, before it was an attorney's office, it was a plantation home where real people lived, and this is one of our older homes in Terrebone Parish. Beautiful place. Here we are in the rear of the home, and there's a beautiful fountain right here behind me, as you can see. Now remember, a lot of our plantation homes have the mystique and the aura about them of ghostly figures that travel the hallways at night and turn over things in the home. Well, that's because there were some deaths that took place in some of these homes over the year. So you have murder, mayhem, idolatry, thievery, all of these things that went on in the halls of these homes. But not only do you have the mystique of ghostly figures in this area, you also have the mystique of voodoo that takes place in the area. Now, voodoo was not brought here by the Cajuns. It was actually brought here by the slaves during the Civil War. The most notorious of all of the ghostly figures is the swamp monster. And if you know anything about the swamp monster, we in Cajun country call them the rougarou. And the rougarou, now don't worry about that. Don't be afraid. Trust me. Please trust me. There's no such thing as a rougarou. You don't have to be afraid of those things. They don't even exist. Let's just move on now. Oh, my goodness. Look at here. These poachers never give up. Here I am trying to show you the plantation home, and there's poachers out here bringing their chickens around so they could catch these make-believe rougarous. I'm telling you, that just makes me sick to see that stuff. What nonsense. Hey, what's going on here? Hey, help me, help me, help me. Quit filming. Hey, cut that film off. Hey, help me over here. Help me. Hey, help me, help me. Put down that camera and help me. Get over here and help me. Help me.
Way to go, Bill.